This is a video from Ukrainian positions near Bakhmut. Wagnerites have been pushing to take this settlement for 3 months straight daily. But Ukraine recently sent some reinforcements and armor to fortify the positions. Let's jump to the military map. This here is Bakhmut. Wagner Private Military Corporation is responsible for this area of the Russian front line. They were supposed to take this city 3 months ago, but they're still not able to do it. And a while ago Ukraine counterattacked and took back the quarry next to the settlement here. The city has been turned to rubble by Russian bombing. There's not much left of the buildings, but Ukraine desperately defend this city because behind it there is flat ground, only fields. It would be very hard to make a new defensive line here, so if Ukraine loses Bakhmut, they will lose a lot of ground behind it also. And also cities like Kramatorsk here, Druzhkivka here, Kostiantynivka here, all of these settlements will be under attack next. So Bakhmut here needs to hold. Ukraine sent reinforcements. In the northern front, this is Svatovia over here. Ukraine's goal is to take this settlement to penetrate deeper into the Luhansk Oblast. Their advances have been slowing down because of two reasons. The first, freshly mobilized troops Russia sent to Ukraine, they sent to fortify Svatovia. There's about 5,000 to 6,000 of these freshly mobilized mobiks in Svatovia right now. Taking this settlement is now much more difficult. Second reason is because it's Rasputitsa in Ukraine right now. It's mud and rain season, so any attacker force will lose a lot of momentum because of this. It is much easier to defend in mud than to attack in mud. And Ukraine here is the attacker side, so their advances are very minimal in the past few weeks. Where it gets interesting is the southern front, the Kherson region. It has been about the artillery here for many months, an artillery duel that Ukraine has been slowly and steadily winning. But weird reports come out of Kherson city today because we have videos and photos of Russian positions abandoned. Russian flag was removed from the administrative building of Kherson today. I am not stating that this means that Russians are abandoning this city of Kherson. We have a lot of fog of war, but these are the reports that come through Telegram from Kherson, so we will just have to wait and see. I cannot find any other reasons they would take off their flag from the most important building in Kherson. Time will tell, my friends, time will tell. Today, my friends, we have a sponsor. I'm not an Estonian soldier anymore, or an Estonian YouTuber. I am now a Lord of Scotland, and these are my lands. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom, where landowners, such as myself, are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. They allow people to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest, so that you can call yourself a lord or a lady. Bow before me, peasant. Off with your head. I'm supposed to be a nice lord. Off with your head. Your certificate features a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land. It makes a great last-minute gift. They even have couple packs that come with adjoining plots of land. You could officially change your name to Lord or Lady and get it on your credit card, plane tickets, etc. if your country allows it. You can even get it on your dating profiles. I mean, have you seen some lords up in Tinder? You're gonna be the first. Established Titles is committed to planting a tree with every order. It is a fun, novel way to help preserve the picturesque woodlands and biodiversity of Scotland while supporting global afforestation efforts. Established Titles is actually running a massive sale right now. Plus, if you use the code Estonian69, yeah, I'm not kidding you, the code is Estonian69, you get an additional 10% off. Established Titles told me that the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot, within a few minutes of walking. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our own little kingdom. Go to establishedtitles.com/Estonian69 to get your gifts now and help support the channel. Poland is building a wall on the border with Russia. This is Kaliningrad Oblast. This area should not belong to Russia, but Russia occupies it. And before the war, it had a huge contingent of Russian troops and armor, but since the war started, most of the armor and troops have been sent from Kaliningrad Oblast to Ukraine, and most of them are already knocked out cold. But Poland does not take any chances. They have now started to build a wall around Kaliningrad and Polish border. This consists of a physical wall in some areas, and in some areas just a barbed wire about 2 to 3 meters high, so nothing can cross without Poland noticing it. On November 2, Russian shelling damaged the last 2 high-voltage communication lines of the nuclear power plant of Zaporizhzhia. The station switched to full blackout mode. All 20 diesel generators switched on. It is vitally important to the entire European continent that this power plant does not run out of diesel. The cooling systems of the power plant work entirely on diesel generators right now. Turning the plant off completely would mean the loss of electricity and heat for millions of Ukrainians. So that is also a very bad option. Russia knows all of this, and they use it for their advantage. Let's watch this next page together. It's Russian fossil fuel tracker. This page shows us how much Russia has gotten paid from the start of the war from selling its fossil fuels to EU and the world. I think it's very interesting to go through this data. According to our estimates, since the beginning of the war, Russia earned 207 billion euros in revenue from fossil fuel export, half of which comes from the EU, and it updates live. Of course, this is an estimate, but as much as I know about this data, it seems accurate. So unfortunately, European Union has paid 108 billion euros to Russia, which means European Union has funded Russian war against Ukraine with 108 billion euros. That is very unfortunate. EU has a strong addiction to Russian fossil fuels. In this graph we can see the daily chart of oil, natural gas and coal exported. So 24th of February, this is about the whole world. We can see that the natural gas line very gradually declines. Oil does the same, but very slowly. Coal does not almost move. But the next graph shows us the same thing, but according to geographical locations, and the green line is the EU. And here we can see a very strong gradual decline in EU payments to Russia throughout the last 8 months. 24th of February, the price skyrocketed, EU paid more, and then slowly and steadily EU has paid less and less and less and less. The direction that the EU is heading is good, getting rid of the dependency from Russian gas and oil, but the change is slow and gradual. It takes time. Largest importers of fossil fuels from Russia. Of course there is China, but next to it is Germany. China's and Germany's population are not even comparable, but Germany's dependence on Russian fossil fuels can be seen here. It is bad. See, Estonia is down here. We have imported about 1.8 million euros worth of oil from Russia. These countries at the bottom here, they have stopped importing from Russia completely, as much as I know, but these countries at the top here, they're still importing Russian gas, oil and coal. For anything to seriously change about EU importing Russian fossil fuels, Germany has to change. It is all about Germany. I think this page is really cool. Sources like this will be posted on my Patreon page. Only Patreons can see it, so I will from now on keep you posted about my information sources when I do research about these videos. I'll post all of them on my Patreon page so you can follow up with the same information that I have when I research. If you want to become a part of this information, then just become a patron. Links in the description below. I want to watch this next video together with you. Ukraine repairs the damage done to their infrastructure almost immediately, which is a huge difference with Russia. Russian state apparatus works immeasurably more slower than Ukrainian, and infrastructure repair is not on Putin's to-do list.
We got dozens of thousands of damages to railway infrastructure. But whatever happens around, we find a way how we can fix it and keep running. Definitely full recovery will take years, and definitely it will take significant funds. But so far we have to find a way how we can fix it in a fast way.
This is a very big difference in attitude. This is the Ukrainian attitude. If it's broken, we try to fix it immediately and then fix it long term. I don't think Russia fixes anything long term. They only have the immediate solutions. This can be seen about their quality of bridge building with the Kherson bridge. This explosion took it out too easily. It was built poorly because it needed to be ready in 2 years. That was the Tsar's orders, and that's why it was built poorly.
Back to operations. it's important to restore connectivity, railway connectivity to retaken cities, because that brings life back to cities. Once we restore passenger service, we search a way how we can restore cargo service, because cargo, that's exports, that's what gives the blood, what gives the funds to the country. Neither deficit of locals, neither deficit of passenger cars or cargo cars will stop us. We'll find a way how we can keep running.
This is the Ukrainian attitude. We will find a way how we can keep running this thing. With such an attitude, you can bomb the infrastructure, you can destroy roads or railways. They will rebuild it, and they will come out of it better than before. I see the strength of the Ukrainian people in this video. And I like it. I want to share it with you. In September, Russian economy shrank 5% compared to that last year's September. Let's go into the economy for a little bit. The projections from the West for the Russian economy to fall were much worse. Most Western analytics thought that Russian economy is going to fall 10+% under the sanctions, but this hasn't been the case. Russia has been proven more resilient to the sanctions than everybody thought. Most people are taking sanctions as this immediate weapon, or they don't understand that this is a very, very long-term weapon, and the effect of sanctions can be felt even after 10 to 15 years. And this shrinking of 5% now is just a warm-up of what's gonna come in Russia in a few years. Sanctions are a weapon that builds up. The more time goes by under the sanctions, the more they will do harm. I'm a person who firmly believes in the sanctions against Russia, and I believe they do a lot of damage in the long run, and this is the goal. Also, Russian ruble has stabilized, but this is fake, kind of. Russian ruble is not publicly traded currency right now because nobody wants to buy it. It is only used in Russia, so it is very easy to stabilize with interest changes. And Russia has changed the interest about 3 to 4 times in the past 6 months. The currency of ruble to USD is fake right now. It is like that on the paper. If you want to buy USD in Russia, you would actually have to pay more than it shows on the graphs. Russian ruble is propped up like a puppet, since it's very isolated from other currencies in the world. The Russian government operates in a deficit for the very first time in years. Since September, Russia had pumped so many of its reserves into the economy to prop up the economy under sanctions that now it has a deficit. Meaning that even with all of the fossil fuels sold, they're still not going to make revenue at the end of the year. How the economy is holding up until now is because Putin has pumped all of the money that Russia has to corporations in packets to make up for the loss of revenue. This does not remove the root cause, which is sanctions. It just takes away the pain for a moment. But if your state revenues run out, which they have by now, you cannot prop up the economy anymore. So the real effect, the real shrinking of the Russian economy will be seen next year and the year after that, when it is not possible to pump the money into the economy anymore because there is no money. Some industries are dead in the water in Russia already. We're talking about the car industry, airplanes industry, and the rail. Russia is not able to manufacture ball bearings. This is a part of the system that constantly needs to be flowing on. These 3 industries only exist because Russia has been pumping money into them, trying to keep them afloat. Russia has started the illegal export of Ukrainian historical and cultural property from the temporarily occupied Crimea into Russian Federation. They are exporting more than 12,000 paintings from the Museum of Ivozovsky. This is a theft of culture, theft of Ukrainian roots and history, which Russia has already done in a massive scale. Russia, as we know it today, the Russian Federation, Russian Empire, all of it came from Kievan Rus. The roots are there, meaning Kiev was the very starting point of the Russian Empire. With Kievan culture, Russia has taken all of that culture and branded it as their own. They have stolen Ukrainian culture. A furniture factory in Russia received an order from the Russian government for 800,000 army beds. This gives us an information about future mobilization plans of the Russian government. Or perhaps it's just an order to give beds to the existing mobilized troops who don't have them. When making these beds take that time, and by that time the troops mobilized right now might already be knocked out cold. These beds are for the future mobilized troops. Putin calls for the modernization of Russian military weapons. That is funny. This was already done in 2008. This Wikipedia article sums it up perfectly. And before you go screaming that Wikipedia is garbage, there are plenty of references, all the sources are there. it's solid. The 2008 modernization of the Russian armed forces pumped billions of USD into the Russian military budget. To modernize the weaponry, make training more efficient, reduce unnecessary spending. Basically until 24th of February 2022, this 2008 Russian military modernization pumped the Russian military up to the second army in the world. Now we know it was a paper tiger, it was all on paper because all of the billions pumped into the Russian military in 2008, they got lost into the pockets of Russian generals. And the Russian military rotted away year by year. Putin coming out now with another modernization plan is just a way to pump some more money into the pockets of the generals to ensure their loyalty, which is most important to Putin. Doesn't care about anything else. If you're loyal, you're good to go. This is where I'll leave you, my friends. Thank you for staying with me and thank you for coming back time and time again. I have many new podcasts coming up with Operator Starsky, Gendit Commando, Suchominus and many others. So the Artur Rehi podcast channel link is in the description below. Go and subscribe to it and listen to some cool podcasts. If you want the sources where I get my information about these videos, then my Patreon link is in the description below. I'll be posting most important information there. My sources, my web pages, my maps. I'll see you in the Patreon. Until my next video, Slava Ukraini.